And so my name is Sarah Gargel, and I am part of the Living Archives Project, where we are collecting stories of how COVID-19 impacted Mecklenburg County residents who are traditionally heard in archives. So today is August 31st, 2022. There are 0 new cases of COVID-19 in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County. There's a 31% decrease of new COVID cases, so that's a lower spread. For the comfort of each subject, I am wearing a mask, but Camellia is not. So today I am with Camellia Harris. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Camellia Harris. Oh, I'm retired. I'm retired, and I've been retired since 2013.
How long have you lived in Charlotte?
About 25 years.
25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you came from what city?
Plainfield, New Jersey.
Plainfield, New Jersey for 25 years. Wow. And you retired here?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me about your family. Do they live in the Charlotte area or are they in New Jersey?
No, my immediate family, some of them are here, like my cousins. My father was from here. But my brothers and sisters, they're still in New Jersey. Well, no, one lives in Delaware, and the other one lives in New Jersey.
Okay.
Two of them. The two youngest ones, they live in New Jersey.
Okay. And you have one son.
Yes.
And how many grandkids do you have?
Just 2.
2 granddaughters.
Mm-hmm.
And they just graduated college or high school?
High school.
High school.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Congratulations, Grandma.
Thank you. Yeah.
You must be so proud.
I am. I really am.
That's truly amazing. Can you tell me just a little bit, what has been your experience over the last 2 years? How has COVID-19 impacted you and your life?
It really hasn't impacted me because I'm I'm a sedentary person anyway. I like to be alone. I function better alone. I make my decisions alone. Me and God, we make the decisions. But I'm fine. Towards the end, it started getting sticky because I couldn't get on the bus. I like to move or walk or whatever. And even though I have a lot of physical challenges going on right now, but you just can't go anywhere because I don't have a car. I have to rely on public transportation. And that's the pits. It's just simply the pits. Especially this end that I'm living in now. When I was on South Boulevard, it was easier.
It was easier to travel.
Easier.
Transportation
was
a lot easier.
Yes.
Can you tell, I know where you are, but people who view this interview, can you tell them a little bit about your living situation? So you live in
this is affordable senior housing.
Okay, affordable
Mm-hmm.
senior housing.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you lived here?
About 4 years.
4 years. Okay. And how has that transition been for you?
It was good for me, other than the fact that it's a lot of different personalities that live in this. I'm on the 4th floor, they call it penthouse, because I like to be alone. It's just a lot of different personalities and different people that like different things than I like. It's been fun.
Okay.
I love my apartment.
Yes, it's beautiful. And I know you're very big into crafting and you love to make your place so lovely and inviting and welcoming.
Mm-hmm. And
it's truly a gift. And clean. Excuse me. Can you tell me, are there programs here at this facility?
We are getting programs now. It's just starting now. We got a new manager, and she seems to be more receptive to, having us do stuff and just sitting and doing nothing more than gossiping or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So getting more people
actively involved. Yes.
So during the lockdown and during the height of the pandemic, were there any programs going on?
No.
Mm-hmm. So everyone was pretty much staying in their...
This is the first time that we've even ever done anything.
Okay. And tell me, what was the first program? It was bingo?
Yeah, it was bingo Friday night. Mm-hmm.
And tell me a little bit about it. Tell me about
it was experience. Like $10, and she had food. We had we were treated like kings. It was only one man, but he sat with the ladies, and it was maybe
Yeah.
$10 for all of that. The prizes were excellent. I mean, excellent.
Wow.
Some people didn't know how to play bingo, but still, we just had a good time.
You had a good time.
Because one lady said, "Oh, I dressed all up because I haven't been out on a date." I told them I'm going. And so I looked at her top and her shoes. She sat at the table with me, and she said, "Oh," and I said, "Yeah, and everything's matching. You look good."
Yeah, that's awesome. Don't you just love that feeling of just dressing up and looking beautiful, feeling beautiful, like you do today? You look lovely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell me about the early days. What do you remember about lockdown and how were you impacted? I mean, other than you said you couldn't take walks, so that was really powerful for you. I mean, it was hard. I can't imagine.
And you just couldn't get out to even get. I would have to wait for somebody to get me to take me to the store, and you got to go on other people's time or whatever. Anyway, but as far as being alone, the lockdown part, that didn't bother me at all. That does not bother me at all. In fact, my brother in Delaware had said, "I knew this was about it," because they know how I am. I don't have any problem. I can find something to do.
Yeah.
I can, as long as I have food to eat and shoes on my feet, I'm good.
Yeah. So who took you grocery shopping?
My cousin.
Your
One of my
cousin.
cousins.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's amazing. That at least you had that support.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a family member, would there be any other? No other way to get groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We did have that. Let me take that back. We did have a store that was on the corner of Sugar Creek and Mallard Creek.
Mm-hmm.
They just took it away because they said the rent was too high, which we could understand. It was wonderful. You could go down there. Now we're actually in a food desert. If you have to get on the bus, you can't walk anywhere.
Yeah.
You have to get on the bus to go to. There's a food line up here that way, and there's a new one down here that just opened up. They haven't been there a year, but you still got to get on the bus. You can't walk all the way down there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been a
But
challenge.
they put a furniture store in there.
Oh my goodness. Furniture. Compared to you need food. Wow. So the accessibility to needs is a challenge.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What are is there any other challenges that you face that come to mind?
And getting to doctors.
Getting to the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say you can call an Uber. I don't trust them, and it's too expensive
Yeah.
for me to go to the food line. One of my little cousins put it on my tablet. $12 one way
Wow.
to this food line
Yeah.
up here. I can't afford that.
Yeah.
I can't afford that.
Man, what do you think are some, if there's any, long-lasting consequences to the pandemic in your life or in others?
Consequences, good or bad, right?
Either or, whatever you see.
I think it will bring people to the realization that we all need each other, that we're going to have to get along to survive. This is just, we're going to have to survive. No matter what your social economic background is, whatever color you are, whatever, what they call a sexual orientation is, we're going to have to get along.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we respect each other's boundaries,
Yeah.
we're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Or we're going to fall off the cliff.
Respecting one another, it's so important. So important.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked a little bit about this, but having a voice and knowing who you are and your identity and respecting one another's voice and differences. It's okay that we're different.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's the way God designed it. It's just, and it just behooves you. You have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to, and you have to have compassion. You have to have compassion You do the judging later on after you figure it out. Because you know you got to do that. You got to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's some people, that's what they do. They milk the system and get mad at you because you're just trying to make it. It is what it is.
So I know when we did the hand map activity, you talked a lot about God. Is that who has God been to you these last few years?
My everything. My everything.
Is your strength and your pillar, you would say? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looked like in your time of need, especially over the last few years, He was your support system. And has it been challenging? Who else has been a support system for you?
My church.
Your church. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How did they support you?
He would send messages every Sunday, and then when the church opened back up, because I've had some people say, "Oh, you got to go to church." They would go anywhere, but we respectfully closed down, which was fine for me. And it was, the church is not the building. The church is the people. It's in you, Well, that means you don't love God. That's not true. That's not true. And this is when I said, I have to learn to, this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you talk a lot about your pastor being such a support system.
He really was sent. He really was. He was sent. Because in our church, they can change the pastors every couple of years. He came at the end of the conference year, before the conference year even started. So God knew we needed a change quick.
When was that?
That was like January. I think he said he's been here like 13 years.
Wow.
No. 10, a little over 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a long time. And you said he's super active in the community?
Yes, he is. That's his calling.
Okay.
He's been on TV. He went to a school board meeting, and the acting. Can I say that? He got up and left. Well, he went as a counsel with a lot of other pastors.
Okay.
And he told the man, whatever his name is, something. He said, you're responsible for this. What's going on with these children? Can't read and can't do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, he just got up and left. He said he doesn't have to answer those questions. He does have to answer these questions. And the pastor said, and the rest of them said, "Oh, you can't confront him like that." Yes, you can. He said, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. You're supposed to stand up.
You're supposed to stand up. Because here we go with the respect again. And that's the problem I have in Charlotte. Before COVID, it was a hot mess. People can't make it on these little $5 an hour jobs and $7 an hour jobs. Yeah, the government says but here in Charlotte, it costs a lot more to live. A lot more. And I think this disparity, how you say?
Yeah, disparity.
Between the low income and the high, there's no middle. There's no middle. And people saying, well, it's all over like that. But for me right now, only thing I'm zeroing in is here in Charlotte. It's not. And it's affecting young people and not so much old people. Young people with college degrees, they can't live here like that. It's very... And to me, if you don't have a church or some positive support system, you fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
That's where the problems come in at.
Yeah. Because
they're not being respected. They're not being looked upon as human beings. They have a right.
Yes.
They have a right.
Our children, they have a right.
They have a right.
Definitely.
To go to school and to learn and to be children.
Yes. Yes, they do. And to feel safe.
To feel safe.
To know who they are and to be able to read. They do.
Read at grade level.
Yes.
Not 5 levels below.
I know you also mentioned that during pandemic, your pastor was able to support you and help people get vaccines.
Yeah,
and
we
how,
got
what was
all.
that like?
Yes, it was through all of our all my vaccines I got through the church.
Through the church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're very actively helping all of
Mm-hmm.
you make appointments and getting to the appointments.
No, they have the van comes there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they came to the church. Yeah, we didn't have only one time we went to another church. The first time, we went to another church. The first vaccine.
Yeah.
And then from then on, they came out to the church.
Okay.
No, I think we did the two. We had to go to another church, but it was still affiliated with the church, and
so it made the process a lot easier.
A lot easier because a lot of people don't know how to do those. Yeah. I couldn't do it, and initially at first, I think it was all over the country. People weren't able to do it.
Yeah.
Online, it just shut down too fast.
Yeah.
Now. Mm-hmm. In fact, the manager here was just telling me that she was going to have somebody come in and give everybody COVID test if you wanted it. Mm-hmm. Well, I went online. I already got mine, but I don't even know. But, you know.
Well, you did, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hard. If you don't know, it's hard to access.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Mm-hmm. So I know you said you're retired, so you didn't have to work during COVID, right?
Thank God.
So that was less stress for you.
Yeah. But see, I only retired since 2013.
Okay.
I worked 25 years in New Jersey.
Okay.
For Johnson & Johnson. Mm-hmm. But, but when I finally retired, in fact, I sent the email out because I was working for a senior, it's been a hard road, trying to retire I had to wait till I got 62. So from 45 to 62 was a couple of years. It was hard. It was really hard. I had to do a lot of stuff. Yeah. Legal, but
definitely.
Yeah. But it was just hard.
It was really hard. Experience.
But anyway, now I can do what I wanted. I don't have enough money to do what I want to do. I can't travel like I want to do. That was my dream, but at least I don't have to try to find, like, these people have to find jobs. They can't work. They can't work from, because I couldn't have worked from home. I did healthcare. I did worked at the hospital. Couldn't do that. Yeah. And then they have to do their children. I thank God every day that I didn't have to do that. Ooh, every single day.
There's going to be some pretty hard stuff to manage, especially during a pandemic. Yeah. Makes things a lot harder.
A lot harder.
How do you think that this experience over the last 3 years has shaped you as a person?
I think it's made me realize that God has a plan for everyone. We don't like to go through this pandemic, but for me personally, it has taught that it's going to be okay. You just have to, like I said, just be still. Yeah. And let him do what he's going to do through you and through others. And then you got to kind of use a lot of discernment who you trust. Yeah. But it's going to be okay. And I think we're going to continually have these challenges. And maybe we won't get it ever, not in my life. I don't know, but we're going to have to. Like I said, because if we don't, through these challenges, monkeypox, whatever, it's going to be something to try to get our attention to be quiet and love each other and do what we need to do to help each other too.
I know you shared with me a little bit about someone who really impacted you. His name was Marcus. Can you share about Marcus again? Yeah,
he was truly for the whole church, not just for me, but for the whole church. He was here for a reason and a while and a season, and his season ran out at 17 or 18, I think it was.
So young. And he passed away during COVID timing. And they're not quite sure what it was from, right? But they think it was COVID.
And it just set the whole church.
Yeah.
The church, we did like a memorial, not the funeral, but prior to the funeral, because his mother couldn't even accept it. It was like 2 weeks. They still waiting for the, but they did a memorial for the whole church. And I have a picture of him on the phone, but like I told somebody, I said, if you've never believed in God, or if you have a little hesitation about it, if you saw him just one time, that's the closest thing I ever saw in my life.
How beautiful is
he
that?
was just, and the whole little church, like I said, one whole side was nothing but young people that had encounters with him. He was on like, what do they call it? It was a choir, but it was mostly old people.
Okay.
The Golden Gates, that was the name of the choir. And they're all old. I mean, older than me. He asked to be on the choir. So they said, well, usually this, but they let him be on there, and he got
That's amazing. And you told me about a time where he just helped you move?
He was telling me his grandmother, I was getting ready to move, and I was talking to his grandmother, and she had a stroke on one whole side. So I was telling her, I said, I don't know how I'm going to get all of this stuff in here, move this stuff from the south side all the way here. So he was standing, because he would bring her to church every Sunday and sit with her, and then he would do the ushering and speak to everybody. Anyway, he came home, he said, oh, my grandmother and me will help you. And I felt bad. I said, huh? But I just felt bad. I couldn't even ask him to do that. And then, like I said, his grandmother, she couldn't help me, really.
No, but just that.
He offered.
That offer was so touching.
It was. And I thought about that, especially after he died.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, everybody said, my Marcus. And I said, no, you're mine. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
But also thankful for the memories that you get to cherish.
That's what I told my son, that a lot of my classmates are dying now in New Jersey, but I keep thinking, my son's godfather died. Is it still working?
I think so.
Okay. My son's godfather died. And I was thinking, and it was all on Facebook, and everybody was saying, my brother from another mother, blah, blah. And I kept thinking about, because him and I, and him, his wife, and my ex-husband, we were really close. We would go to Atlantic City and just have a good old time. And my husband and him worked together. But I kept saying to my son, I said, this is nothing but memories. And I used to tell him that when he was young. Yeah. And I'm saying, this is the same thing for me. It's just memories. 2 of my best girlfriends died. And I said, all I've had is good memories. And see, that's a blessing right there.
That is.
Just to have good
and
memories.
And that perspective, like you said, the perspective, it's so important. It's so important to know and cherish the memories that we did have.
Yeah, he was quite a person.
Yeah. Well, I want to respect your time, my dear. And so my last question is, do you have anything else that you just wanted to share about your personal experience, any stories that you wanted to share with us? No,
there's too many. Too many. Because I can talk. I know that now. But no, I'm good. I'm just thankful to be here. Like I said, I don't want to live to be 100. I just want to live out my time. I don't want to, make it go faster. I'm not going to do anything like that. But,
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time and for your story. It's quite remarkable. You are quite remarkable.
Thank you.